여러분 그거 아세요? 여름에는 냉장고 온도를 높여야 한대요. 일반적으로 여름은 날씨가 더워 냉장고 온도를 낮춰야 한다고 생각하기 쉽지만 밖에 더운 공기가 내부로 들어오면 냉장고 효율을 떨어뜨린대요. 여름철 전기세 폭탄 원인이 되기도 한다고 해서 저도 3도에서 4도로 급히 1도 올렸어요.
I don't know what I'm meant to feel anymore. I take it out on my girls and smash that door. I fucked around with myself and I let you know that if you're up there watching, start the show. Say it's over, my friend. How long until the end? 'Cause I'm past the point where I can amend. I don't love myself, but I can pretend. Repeated cycles in my head, bringing me down. And I've been itching at the back of my head, the crown. Environment or inside my head, it's one of the two. 'Cause this head is controlling me, and me is just you.